She never imagined that a simple Monday morning would turn into a moment she would never forget.
Maria, a hard-working housekeeper, had always done her job quietly, making sure the millionaire boss's mansion ran smoothly while keeping her own worries tucked away. But today, she made a small decision that would change everything. She brought her young son, Jamal, with her to work. It wasn't planned, daycare had fallen through, and she thought it would be just a few hours. From the moment they stepped into the grand mansion, Maria could feel the tension.
Jamal, wide-eyed and curious, explored the marble floors and sparkling chandeliers with innocent fascination.
She tried to keep him close, worried that even the smallest misstep might get her scolded.
But the unexpected happened when the billionaire boss, Mr. Anderson, noticed Jamal. What started as a casual glance quickly turned into something Maria could hardly believe.
His gesture, subtle yet deeply meaningful, left her frozen in shock.
For a simple housekeeper like her, nothing like this had ever happened before. What did he do that left her completely speechless? And how would this moment change the rest of her day and maybe even her life? Stay tuned, because the answer will leave you just as stunned as Maria.
Maria couldn't take her eyes off Mr. Anderson as he approached them, a calm smile on his face that seemed so out of place in the usual hectic rhythm of the mansion. Jamal clutched her hand tightly, sensing her nervousness, but there was something in the way the billionaire looked at him that made the boy relax just a little. Maria had worked here for years, cleaning every room, polishing every surface, and never once had she imagined being noticed, let alone having her son noticed, in such a personal way. She remembered the early mornings when she would leave home before sunrise, juggling 2 jobs and trying to make sure Jamal had enough to eat and a warm place to sleep. Life had been a constant struggle, and she had always believed that the world of the wealthy, like Mr. Anderson's, was completely separate from hers. Yet here he was, bridging that invisible line with a simple gesture that made her heart pound with a mixture of gratitude and confusion. As Mr. Anderson spoke softly to Jamal, Maria felt a strange mix of emotions, hope, disbelief, and a nagging worry about what might happen next.
Why was he being so kind? And what did he really want?
Something told her that this unexpected encounter was only the beginning, and whatever came next could change everything for both her and her son. Maria tried to focus on her work, but her mind kept drifting back to Mr. Anderson's unexpected kindness. Every task she completed felt heavier with curiosity and unease.
She couldn't help wondering if this gesture was just a moment of generosity or if it carried a meaning she couldn't yet understand.
Meanwhile, Jamal seemed unusually at ease, giggling softly as he explored a corner of the grand living room, occasionally glancing at the billionaire with wide, trusting eyes. Maria's heart ached with both pride and anxiety. She wanted her son to feel safe, but she also worried about overstepping boundaries in a world so far removed from their own. Meanwhile, in another part of the mansion, Mr. Anderson's assistant watched the scene quietly, her expression unreadable. She had worked for him for years and knew his gestures often had deeper implications.
Could this simple act of kindness toward a housekeeper's son signal something more significant, a new opportunity, a test, or even an unexpected responsibility? Back in the kitchen, Maria tried to keep herself grounded, wiping counters and stacking dishes, but the questions lingered. Would this encounter affect her job? Could it open doors or create challenges she wasn't prepared for? One thing was certain.
Nothing in Maria's life would remain the same after today, and the next move by Mr. Anderson could either bring hope or stir a storm she never saw coming.
The afternoon dragged on, each tick of the clock amplifying Maria's nerves. Every footstep in the mansion seemed louder, every shadow more deliberate.
Jamal clung to her side, his small hand wrapped tightly around hers, but even he seemed to sense that something unusual was unfolding. Maria stole glances at Mr. Anderson, who moved gracefully through his office and the hallways, occasionally pausing to glance back at them with that same calm, inscrutable smile. It was as if he held a secret only he could understand, and Maria felt herself drawn into a tension she couldn't escape. Her mind raced with possibilities.
Was he planning to offer her a job opportunity she had never dreamed of? Or was there another reason he had singled out her son?
The questions gnawed at her, making it hard to focus on even the simplest chores.
Even the assistant's watchful eyes added to the unease, hinting that there were rules and boundaries Maria might not fully grasp. As evening approached, Mr. Anderson called Maria and Jamal into the main hall.
The grand chandelier cast a golden glow over the polished floors, and Maria's heart pounded in her chest. Something significant was about to happen, she could feel it, yet she had no idea what to expect. The air was thick with anticipation, every second stretching longer, leaving her and the audience on the edge of a revelation that could change everything. Maria stepped into the main hall, holding Jamal close, her nerves stretched tight like a taut rope. The golden glow of the chandelier seemed almost unreal, casting long shadows across the polished marble floors. Mr. Anderson stood at the far end, his expression calm but serious, and for a moment, Maria felt a shiver of uncertainty. Then, just as she thought she might finally understand the gesture that had stunned her earlier, something unexpected happened. From behind the large double doors, a second figure appeared, a young woman Maria had never seen before. She was impeccably dressed and carried herself with confidence that immediately made Maria feel out of place. Mr. Anderson's face shifted subtly, a flicker of tension passing through his usual composed demeanor. Maria's heart raced. Who was this woman, and why was she here? As the woman approached, she handed Mr. Anderson a thick envelope, whispering something that made him glance sharply at Maria and Jamal. Suddenly, the atmosphere changed. What had begun as a moment of unexpected kindness now carried an edge of uncertainty and urgency. Maria realized that whatever Mr. Anderson had intended for her son's presence, it was now tangled with something far larger, something she couldn't yet understand but that would have consequences for both her and Jamal. The stakes were higher than ever, and Maria could feel the tension tightening around her like an invisible cage, leaving the audience desperate to know what would happen next. Maria's heart raced as Mr. Anderson took a deep breath, the envelope still in his hand. Jamal clutched her side, his small eyes wide with curiosity and unease. Then, in a voice both steady and commanding, Mr. Anderson spoke. He explained that the company he ran had been looking to support local families, offering educational scholarships for children of employees who showed potential. And in that moment, he announced that Jamal had been chosen for a special program, an opportunity that would change the boy's future forever. Maria could hardly believe it. Years of struggle, sacrifice, and late nights suddenly seemed to lead to this one overwhelming moment of hope. Tears welled in her eyes as she thanked Mr. Anderson, overwhelmed by gratitude and disbelief. Jamal's face lit up with excitement, and Maria felt a wave of relief and pride she had never known. But just as she began to breathe easier, Mr. Anderson handed her the envelope. Inside, she found more than documents about the scholarship. It contained plans to expand the initiative to include the families of all long-term staff, offering training, financial support, and mentorship. Maria realized the gesture was bigger than she could have imagined. It wasn't just for her son, it was for everyone working quietly behind the scenes. As she looked up, a small smile from the young woman who had delivered the envelope hinted at another secret, leaving Maria and the audience wondering what unexpected surprise might come next. Maria stood in the grand hall, holding Jamal's hand, feeling a mixture of relief, joy, and disbelief. What had started as an ordinary day at work had transformed into a life-changing moment for both of them. The scholarship meant more than just education. It was a symbol of recognition for her hard work, her dedication, and her unwavering love for her son. She realized that kindness and opportunity could come from the most unexpected places, even from someone as seemingly distant as a billionaire boss. As the young woman from earlier smiled knowingly and left the room, Maria felt a sense of connection to a larger world she had never imagined. The envelope, the scholarship, and the new program for families of the staff showed her that her efforts had not gone unnoticed. It wasn't just about Jamal, it was about every child, every parent, and every hard-working person quietly making sacrifices every day. Walking home that evening, Maria held Jamal a little tighter, watching him talk excitedly about school and the future. She reflected on the day's events, understanding that life had a way of surprising you when you least expected it. Sometimes, a simple act of courage, like bringing your child to work, could change everything. And though the mansion seemed far away, its lessons of hope, opportunity, and compassion would stay with her forever.